I still remember the night she cried on my chest, trembling like a lost child. She said, "No matter what happens, I'll never leave you." And like a fool, I believed her. My name is Ryan. I wasn't rich, I wasn't famous, but I had something. Very few people had these days: loyalty. And I gave her all of it. We met in college. Emily was charming, a little wild, and had this fire in her eyes that made her stand out. I was the quiet type. She said I made her feel safe. And I felt seen for the first time in my life. We started dating, and for a while, everything felt like a dream. She'd hold my hand in public, send me long texts before sleeping, and always look at me like I was her whole world. But dreams don't last forever, do they? After graduation, life got tougher. I worked double shifts just to afford rent and save up for her dream. She wanted to start a boutique. I supported her like a husband even before I was her husband. I never complained, even when I came home exhausted, and she'd already fallen asleep. I'd look at her sleeping face and smile, because I thought, she's worth it. I know, while I was busy building a future for us, she was busy building a connection with someone else. It started with small things. She was always on her phone. She'd laugh at texts and hide the screen. When I asked, she said it was just work. One night she came home late, her lipstick smudged, perfume unfamiliar. She said she was with friends. But my heart, it just wasn't ready to accept it. Then came the night that broke me. I found her phone unlocked on the bed. I didn't mean to look, but it buzzed, and what I saw shattered everything I believed in. Texts, pictures, voice notes, all with her boss, the one she said was just professional. That night, I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I just stared at her while she slept, peacefully, as if she hadn't just destroyed my soul, and at that moment, something inside me changed. The next morning, I didn't say anything. I made her coffee, just like every other day. She smiled, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "You're the best thing that ever happened to me." And all I could think was, then why wasn't I enough? Days passed, and I kept pretending. Not because I was weak, but because I needed time. Time to understand how the girl I loved more than life could lie to my face so easily. Time to plan. My next move, I started paying attention to everything. Her fake phone calls where she'd walk to the balcony. The sudden gym memberships and late-night meetings. The excuses. The lies. The perfume that wasn't hers. I saw it all. And every time she chose him over me, a part of me died quietly. But I never confronted her. I wanted her to think she still had the upper hand. Because when you love someone truly, you don't want revenge. You want them to feel what you felt. Not once, but over and over again. And then one night, I followed her. She said she was meeting a client for dinner. I said nothing and just smiled. But after she left, I waited 10 minutes and drove after her. I stayed back, watching from a distance. And there she was, laughing, touching his hand across the table, eyes filled with the same warmth she once had only for me. That was the night I decided I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't cry. I would walk away with silence so loud that it would haunt her for life. But I wasn't done yet. I had spent years giving her everything. Now it was time she learned what losing everything felt like. I didn't go home that night. I drove around the city aimlessly, playing old songs on the radio, songs that once made me think of her, now just echoed betrayal. I parked by the river and sat there for hours, asking myself one question: how did we get here? I gave her everything. I was there when no one else was. I listened to her fears, held her during her breakdowns, supported her dreams even when they left me behind, and now she was giving her smile, my favorite smile, to someone else. Not because he deserved it, but because she never truly valued me. It's strange how pain changes you. The boy who once texted her every hour to ask if she ate was now learning how to go days without even thinking of her voice. But I still said nothing. I went home. The next day, like everything was fine. I kissed her forehead. I made her coffee. I even left a note in her lunchbox. "Love you more than words." She smiled when she read it. She had no idea I had already seen her betrayal, and that was my revenge, my silence, my patience, because I wasn't just walking away. I was letting her fall deeper into the illusion that I didn't know, so that when I left, she would feel it more. That week, I started preparing my exit quietly. I moved some of my savings into a private account. I contacted an old friend who owned an apartment downtown and told him I might need it soon. I made copies of everything: text logs, emails, photos. I wasn't planning to expose her. I just wanted to protect myself from the storm that was coming. But life had its own way of revealing truth. 3 days later, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed. A message popped up from a name I didn't recognize. It said, "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you." I took a screenshot and sent it to my own email. I didn't even feel hurt anymore, just empty. And when she came out of the shower, wrapped in a towel, smiling at me, I smiled back, because I had already planned my final goodbye. It was a Sunday morning when I decided to test her. We were sitting on the balcony, sipping coffee. She was scrolling through her phone, giggling at something, and I just asked, Do you ever feel like people change when they think you'll never leave? She paused. Her eyes shifted to me for a second, unsure if I was being poetic or pointed. She replied, I guess, but real love stays, right? I nodded and said, only fools stay after being broken. Real love also walks away when it's no longer respected. That hit her. She got quiet, but she didn't know the storm was already building. That afternoon, I called my friend and confirmed the apartment. I packed one suitcase when she went out with her girls, probably him. I left behind everything else. The memories, the pain, the love that had already died. The next morning she woke up alone. No note, no message, no goodbye kiss, just silence. She called me over 10 times. I didn't answer. She texted, where are you? What's going on? I didn't reply. Then she messaged, if this is a joke, it's not funny. I waited 6 hours. Then I sent her a photo. It was the screenshot of her and him, her lies, her betrayal. No caption, no explanation, just truth. She tried calling again. No answer. She messaged me like she was suddenly innocent. It wasn't like that. We're just talking. Please don't do this. You're overreacting. I read every word, but I didn't reply. 3 days passed. Then she showed up at the apartment. She was crying, her makeup smudged, her voice shaking. I messed up. I was stupid. It didn't mean anything. You're the only one I love, but it was too late. She wasn't crying because she lost me. She was crying because she realized she had lost the version of me who would have forgiven her. I stood there in silence as she begged for another chance. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't break down. I just looked at her and said, you killed something in me that day, and I'll never get it back. That was the moment she truly realized she had lost me. Not when I left, not when I sent the screenshot, but when I didn't care anymore. She stayed outside the building for hours. But I never opened the door again. And that was the first night I truly slept in peace. Asterisk. Weeks passed. She kept trying. Texts, emails, voicemails at 2 a.m. messages, like I miss you. I can't sleep. I made a mistake. Please come back. But I didn't respond. Because when someone breaks your heart, they don't deserve to hold the pieces. I wasn't angry anymore. I was healing quietly, deeply, going for walks alone, reading books I never had time for, working out, rebuilding my peace. And the strangest part, I started smiling again. Not the kind I used to fake around her, but the kind that comes when you realize losing someone was actually freedom. Then, one day, she showed up at my new place. I heard the knock. I knew it was her before I even opened the door. I hesitated, but then opened it anyway. She stood there holding flowers, her eyes full of tears, her voice trembling. I still love you, she whispered. I think about you every night. I deleted his number. I blocked him. I ended everything. I've changed. Just give me one more chance. For a second, I saw the girl I once loved, but I also saw every lie, every late-night call she made to him, every time she chose someone else over me. So I said, you didn't love me when I needed you the most. Now that I've finally learned to love myself, I don't need you anymore. She broke down, fell to her knees, begged like I once used to, but it didn't move me, because this time, the roles had reversed. I had become the one walking away, and she was the one being left behind. Later, I heard she spiraled, quit her job, fought with friends. People started noticing how broken she was. Karma had arrived, silently, patiently. She left me when I loved her most. Then fate made her regret it, not through revenge, not through hate, but by showing her what life feels like, without someone who truly cared. And that was the most painful punishment of all, because now, she wakes up every morning knowing the truth. She lost someone who would have loved her forever, for someone who only wanted her for a moment. And me, I found peace. Not in another woman, but in knowing I survived what was meant to destroy me.